Hello and welcome to Thrum Hall in Halifax. The home team and the visitors Hull, both smarting after losing matches they threatened to win last week. And for Halifax, there's the memory of much better times just 7 months ago. They came in their thousands to welcome home the team who just added a Wembley Cup final triumph over St Helens to their championship win a year earlier. So for a club with such pride in its record, their struggle to find their form this season has been a bitter pill to swallow. And no one's more keen to put that right today than Graham Eadie, their Australian captain. David Watkins.
He's a former Manly and Australian Test full-back, 20 caps to his credit, one in a long line of great players produced by Australia. Possesses a rock-like defence, as many of the opposition will testify. A powerful runner, always prepared to link up in attack. Shattered a try-scoring record for a Halifax full-back last season with 20. A steadying influence on the team, a true professional with good discipline.
The opposition today, a club who've just put 9 players on the transfer list. So will that have any effect this afternoon?
No, it won't affect the lads in any way. I think they're coming here quite confident today.
Has it affected the mood at all?
No, because the majority of them lads that aren't playing are a second teamers or lads that's been out the team a while.
Has the overall mood of the club improved? Because you're a great club and yet one that's been struggling all season really.
Still are a great club and, you know, we are struggling a little bit. Cash-wise and that, you know, could do with a bit of an injection here and there. Overall, the morale's good and some good players.
Well, if Len Casey's optimism is to be justified, much will depend on this man, the Hull captain, James Lulai.
A New Zealand international as long ago as 1980 and a boulevard favourite. A prolific try-scorer and a big occasion player, scored on both his Wembley appearances. Possesses pace and a wonderful sidestep. A versatile player, can and has played full-back, centre and stand-off half. But today plays in his favourite position at centre.
Well, watching the action from the stands just as closely as David Watkins will be Wilf Paish. You probably know he's coached such athletic stars as Tessa Sanderson, Mick Hill and Peter Elliott. You may not know his role here at Halifax.
Well, basically, I'm the person that controls the fitness. I train the players, certainly once a week, and during the game on a Sunday, I do an evaluation of the game to try to show the players exactly how many tackles they made, how many they missed, how many balls they dropped, this sort of thing. Quite an interesting aspect of the game, which also is related back into the fitness aspect.
Well, talking of fitness, Graham Eadie passed a test on an injured hamstring this morning and plays at fullback. And the 2 first-choice wingers, Taylor and George, are back for Halifax. Hull have one late change from the team who only lost 26-22 at the Leaders' Witness last week, with Andy Dannett back after a 4-match suspension in place of Alan Tomlinson, who's picked up an injury. The backs on form, McCaffrey and O'Hara, have each scored tries in the last 2 games. And this chap got a try or 2 in his playing days with Halifax. His name, George Holroyd Helm. Today, as ever, his grandson, young John Helm, is our match commentator.
And I'm sure my dear old granddad would love to have been here today at Thrum Hall. There's been nothing better in recent years than the resurgence of Halifax Rugby League Club. And here they are up against another of the great names in Yorkshire rugby down the years, Hull FC. Referee Stephen Haig from Ossett this afternoon, and it's a little bit dull and overcast and very, very cold. Halifax kicked off. David Watkins, let me bring you in immediately. What do you think is going to happen today?
Well, both sides need to improve their record, and I'm sure both sides will be out today to win. It's going to be tough and hard. Halifax fighting after their Wembley triumph last year, but Hull also know what the task is and looking for former goals.
And believe it or not, Hull are about to make a substitution already due to an injury. Devorty flinging that one out, and that was a bit sloppy. Did it go right for Hull, but then O'Hara made enough of it, and Wilkinson's won the ball for Halifax. Robinson now. Dixon breaks through 2 tackles. And Seamus McCallion's seen a lot of the ball at acting half-back. Pendlebury bringing Mick Scott into things. There's Scott now, slips it away in the tackle. Enterprising stuff from Halifax. Still searching for that gap. Pendlebury hoists the one up high towards the whole line. And this requires a good take, and is that going to be a try or not? The ball was knocked forward, I think. And absolutely right. The referee, Stephen Haig, was right on the spot and absolutely right.
Superb kick up and under here, which is, as I say, putting the pressure now on this Hull defence. But the referee being there, the ball was knocked forward there by a Halifax player.
Taylor, he's seen plenty of the ball, and Taylor almost getting away from the tackle of Paul Wellham then. Taylor back in the side, didn't play last week at Widnes. Scott and McCallion. Now Pendlebury, nicely done. Changed direction there. And this young man, Robinson, very much involved in this. Graham Eady, must surely be a try if Wilkinson comes inside and gets to the line. He's there, I think. Wilkinson's in for the try. And it was all made, first of all, by Robinson, and then the brilliant timing of Graham Eady coming up in the line.
Well, that's really what it's all about. Halifax now trying to have their early supremacy on the side. And we see a quick play of the ball here. Now look how Eady comes into the line when he comes into this line. He comes in and really bursts through the cover defence, draws the man, and Wilkinson wisely comes on his inside to cross after being held nearly on the line by Dane O'Hara. A good try.
Well, this should be a simple enough kick for Colin Whitfield. That's exactly what he's got to do. The ball nicely planted on top of that sand, and in the words of the golf song, straight down the middle. So a 6-point lead for Halifax. That's Ian Wilkinson. Soccer player he was to start with at Scunthorpe United. Anyway, very much a rugby league player these days, and he's got the first try of the match. A big shout of "come on, Fax" there. The crowd here a bit disappointed by Halifax's start to the season. But here they are once more. They're in rip-roaring form at the moment. Some tremendous running. And Chris Anderson, I know, is desperately keen for his team to do well here today in front of the cameras. Oh, and good play from Colin Whitfield. He's just got the one man in front of him. Jigs inside, looks for support. It's tearaway stuff from Halifax at the moment. Mick Scott's up here, bursts through one tackle, slips the ball inside. Well, this is really lively, and Hull are having all on to defend their line at the moment. Pendlebury, good pass of a ball, inside is Neil James. Still James, and he's literally held up an inch short of that line. Great stuff from Halifax, David Watkins.
Oh, marvellous, and this is the thing, they've scored early on, they know what they have to do after last season. Winning the cup is something big to stand up for, but I mean, they are putting the pressure on this Hull side. Hull having to travel here in the same position as Halifax, in the lower regions of the division, and they really are ramming home their advantage.
The man in your picture there, number 15, Neil Buckering. I think you've got to feel a little bit of sympathy for Hull to lose an important player like Andy Gallett at such an early stage of the game. The usual entanglement of bodies, and a bit of relief looked for from Gary Pearce. And the kick falls straight into the hands of Graham Eady, who always seems to be perfectly positioned. Wolf George had to juggle with the pass. Now Taylor's gone right across there. Strange place to find the right wingman in at this stage of the game. Slipped by Nella, and Pendlebury again found a gap. Only made 7 or 8 yards there, but he's got the ball away in the tackle once more. Wilkinson couldn't hold on. So once or twice, Halifax have got passes away in tackles, which perhaps they shouldn't have been allowed to do.
Well, yes, it says much for them. The Hull defence are really creaking somewhat with an all-out assault by the Halifax side. But they are playing good football, and they are backing the man with the ball.
Out on the Hull side this time, Lulai. Back inside, bewildering stuff, and he's got Pearce running. And a long, long ball outright, which is taken on the bounce by Eastwood. Comes inside George, still going Paul Eastwood. So Hull obviously showing that they're just as willing as Halifax are to throw this ball around, and the touch judge is on. Play restarts with a barnstorming run from Puckering. Very promising young player. He's just had a broken jaw, Neil Puckering, but now back happily. It's a wonder more players don't break the jaws at this game, I always think. Nicely done by Devorty, and the supporting forward was Wellham. So better moments for Hull these as Patrick gets the ball away, and the inside pass is taken by Brooks. So certainly been some respite in the last few minutes for Hull. Pearce, long ball out for Bass. Oh, and he's got the ball inside for Lualai as well in the tackle. James Lualai always dangerous close to the line, and here's Puckering once more, eager for work, but that's the handover.
Well, there's no doubt every time James Lualai has the ball, 2 or 3 people, Wilkinson in particular, keeping a close watch at him, but it just shows how dangerous this player can be whenever he has the ball, that Halifax have to put 2 or 3 players on him.
McCallion, the Irish-born hooker, you'll be surprised to know, with a name like Seamus McCallion. Pendlebury, nailed that time by Wellham. Acting half-back once more, Robinson. And asking Whitfield to give Halifax a bit of relief and a kick upfield. Put the ball firmly into touch. You can see from the touch judge's flag raised what a good kick it was.
Brilliant kick, and he no doubt has benefited from playing out in Australia in the summer.
Two for scrums. He's going to go ahead. McCallion or Patrick. Well, it's Hull's put in, and it's out on the Hull side as well.
Get out, both of your players!
Oh, very vociferous crowd here today, I must say. Referee Haig also in good voice. Patrick impersonating an ostrich there. Now Fletcher. Devorty once more. Lualai switched over, and he's created a gap, and Bass has gone through the gap. Eastwood's coming inside. Bass has found Eastwood. What a great tackle, though. He was stopped dead in his tracks there by Taylor. But that all came about because Lualai had made the gap, and still Hull so close to that Halifax line now. Patrick. All back by the Wombat himself, Graham Eadie. But the last few minutes have definitely belonged to Hull. Pearce, and still Pearce. Got the ball back, it slipped out of the hand, but still Hull coming forward, and there must surely be a try out on the wing. No, he's cut inside himself. And that's a great score for Paul Fletcher. And Hull really deserved that for the pressure they've exerted over the last 5 or 6 minutes.
Well, yes, they have. A superb drawing pass by Lualai to start off the movement, which caused the earlier fray near the line. But the ball coming out now from the play, the ball out along the line. Superb long balls, and Pearce flips up another ball here, and that's good play. Although it was missed the first time, no doubt this just goes, the backing up is good. A good catch and take there. Out here now to Fletcher. Now Fletcher draws the man. See how he goes. The wing doesn't know which way to go, the result of which makes it an easy try for him. Here we go. It's really good handling here, isn't it? And taking the man out of the ball, and Fletcher's left with an easy choice here. He knows it's a difficult position for a wing to be in. A good try.
Paul Fletcher's 7th try of the season. And surprisingly, I would say, from that sort of range, the goal is missed by Gary Pearce.
Well, that was sad, because that would have 6-6, and there's no doubts at all about it. When you come to Halifax, and I've been here a few times, when you're playing down the slope, it's an advantage, and Halifax will be a little disappointed at this stage of the game to only be 6-4 ahead.
Steve Smith is on as substitute, and the man who's gone off is the Australian fullback, Graham Eadie. Graham Eadie, I'm sure, will be disappointed to be off this early in the match. But Colin Whitfield, meanwhile, has teed himself up. And it's a fairly straight kick, but unfortunately the ball doesn't want to take part. Well, it won't worry Colin Whitfield. He's created a club record 298 points for the season last season. And now we can go behind the posts and see if the ball comes sailing through. Whitfield will get plenty of height, I'm sure. A big roar goes up, and a lovely shot there. Up go the flags, and Halifax stretch their lead to 8-4. A penalty to Halifax, and right on the stroke of half-time.
I think that was a correct decision, because the man was actually tackled and on the floor when the second man, Patrick, went in to take it away from him. The referee right on the spot and awarded a penalty. And this is an important kick now for Whitfield, just before half-time.
Yes, it could give Halifax a 6-point advantage. And psychologically, it's always better to have that cushion. Well, he was successful with his last kick, which was much straighter. Ben Beavers trudges back with the bucket.
Go on, Colin!
And Whitfield is a very composed kicker. Joined from Wigan, and of course had that season with Canterbury Bankstown in Australia, and did very well down there. I don't think he's got the distance, and he certainly didn't have the direction either. Lualai took it on the full. Oh, no, Hara, what a terrible mistake! Oh, that was an awful mistake, and Robinson is clattered there on the head by McCaffrey. He really took him out. That was a very bad head tackle.
Oh, that's one of the bad parts of the game. Some people say instant reaction, but I think there is no need to cling your harm that eye. Serious head injuries can have come from that.
And Hull, I suppose it was the only way they were going to protect their line from another try. It was a desperate mistake between Lualai and O'Hara.
I'm rather surprised, actually, because James Lualai trying to play the ball here, knowing there's only a few minutes before, gave Dana O'Hara an impossible pass. And, of course, he came onto it straight away and picked it up. And watch this now. This is really is a bad tackle there.
My feeling, David, was he should have kept on going straight, actually, instead of cutting inside.
That's right, it's quite incredible. A lot of people do want to come inside all the time instead of using the open space on the outside.
But McCaffrey has survived punishment from the referee, and Halifax is still here. I thought the hooter would have gone long ago, but it hasn't. And that's why Halifax is still pressing towards the line, but in fact the hooter has now sounded almost unheard due to the booing of the crowd here, due to that incident which has given us a fiery ending to the first half, David.
Yes, it most certainly has. But Halifax, whilst 8-4 in the lead, will be a little disappointed, I think. They've had the advantage, as I've said earlier, coming down the slope. But the Hull side have stuck to it, have played too much Philly football in their own 25 to be good. They should leave it until they get up there, because when they've got up there, they have scored a good try.
Just the 2 tries scored in the game, the first by Ian Wilkinson for Halifax and then one by Paul Fletcher, but 2 Colin Whitfield goals make the half. Come back to Thrum Hall. Halifax 4 points in the lead as we start the second half, but just before we do, we can nip down to the touchline where Nick Powell is talking to the Halifax coach, Chris Anderson.
What have you said to the lads at half-time?
Win. Hopefully.
And that was
we know what's wrong, and hopefully we'll fix it up the second half.
Tremendous tackle, just stopped you getting a second try just before the end.
I wouldn't call it a tremendous tackle.
What would you call it?
I think he's very lucky to stay on, the boy.
Chris, thanks very much indeed, and back to John Helm in the commentary box.
Well, I have to agree with Chris Anderson there at the start of the second half. Well, the message was simple from Chris Anderson there, go out and win. I would imagine that's what all coaches tell their teams to do, but there are ways and means of doing it, of course, and Halifax having to play uphill in this second half.
That's right, and there is a difference, actually, when you come here and you go in at half-time knowing that you can come down the slope second half. It does give you a bit more confidence.
Good take by Eastwood. And in the scrums in the first half, Hull just came out on top. Sean Patrick's had a good game, but none against the head. So probably a relief that we've only had the 5 scrums. It was flung away, and it worked out right for Hull in the end. It was a trifle dangerous. Patrick and O'Hara now. And a little chip over the top. He might still get there. Well played by McCaffrey. That's the best we've seen from the Australian. So we've seen the best of Meredith and the best of McCaffrey in the last few moments. And Hull are coming forward. That's Regan. This is Devorty. No way for him down the middle. And the referee keenly watching to make sure Halifax not going offside here. Lualai. And chances here if this ball is switched. And he looked for support and didn't find it then.
Play a ball and away.
Still Hull really close to the Halifax line with Lualai. And it's gone to ground and picked up once more for Halifax by Neil James.
I think that's one of the sadnesses about the Hull play at the moment. Whenever they're under a little pressure, instead of holding the ball and going down to use it again, they're letting it go.
Tremendous relieving run from Steve Smith. Yes, both sides have been a little nervy near the opposition line. Here's Meredith once more. Well, I was talking about Martin Meredith in your picture here. He only survived 30 seconds of his debut game against St Helens, cracked his ankle, and has come back. This is only his 5th game. That was the best they've seen of him. Whitfield plunges forward. James looking for support, gets it from Robinson, who wriggles away. The last tackle. And the kick again from Whitfield. It's gone straight into the hands of Hull's try-scorer Paul Fletcher, who's running wide and now straightening up. Well tackled by Nella, who's done a good tackling stint. Lualai, very much the elder statesman of this Hull side, is trying to inspire his team. Lualai, the man here with the ball, scored some memorable tries for the club. Devorty. Well, we've only had the 2 tries in this game, and there should have been more, but for a bit of panic close to the line each time, and McCaffrey this time taken out, throws the ball back. That was quick thinking by McCaffrey actually. Regan has slipped it back inside, and this is much better from Hull, and support here, and a great chance of a try for Hull, and it's a try for Sean Patrick under the post, and that was created through the tenacity of McCaffrey, really.
Yes, McCaffrey really did well there.
Patrick has been injured in scoring the try, and there's some concern.
His persistence here, going through into the tackle. Now watch McCaffrey come through. Gary Pearce, first of all, with the ball, pushes off one tackler, pushes off another, pushes the ball out, and Patrick takes it on well. How well he runs for a hooker. Super try. Pendlebury as ever back there, but can't stop him.
Sean Patrick's 4th try this season. He was the player of the season last year. He has been in good form. And now then, can Gary Pearce got his first points of the afternoon. Up go the flags. And Hull not only back in this game, but in front.
Really good persistence here. They're coming through, moving the ball. This James Zulai again, getting more into the game now this half. Moves the ball well, pushes off here. That was good. Released the ball in the tackle, took men out, well picked up in the loose again. The forward goes through, breaks the tackle, pushes it inside. And look at Pearce pushing people off, big at the top, and this is good for him. This will do his confidence of power a good. And Patrick, as ever, backing up, speeds away. Pendlebury can't hold him.
So the situation in the game has changed, and for the first time, Hull are in front. And Halifax have reacted by bringing on their second substitute, Ben Beavers. It's Neil James who's gone off. You'll quickly spot Ben Beavers. There he is, because he's in the whitest strip on the pitch. Very experienced player, Beavers. Great roaring start from him. The first time he touched the ball. Well, Beavers has been at Thrum Hall since 1980, an Ovenden lad. But we've got a different game on our hands now. Hull in front. Beavers once more, so they're asking him to earn his money straight away. Robinson. And you can see just how close Halifax are to the Hull line. The question is, can they do anything with the ball? Chris Anderson will have been working on a lot of tactics during the week, I'm sure. Halifax had a training session only yesterday morning, just to sharpen up. And the ball flung along the line. Nella couldn't get it out. And what's more, he's lost it. So again, the ball going to ground just when Halifax needed it most.
That's right, they came with a bang then from that kick-off. Caught, in fact, by Whitfield straight from the kick-off, which took Hull by surprise, but they couldn't capitalise on it.
A word about Gary Pearce again, David. He helped to make the try, obviously, there. And there he was in the picture with you, and he's done quite well in this match.
That's right, it's no good. It'll do his corners a lot of good. He used his body weight to push off.
And Devorty has got that ball away, and there's another try here for Hull in the corner, I think, unless George can nail him. He's over all right, he's Eastwood. And all of a sudden, the game has been transformed, and Halifax, from being 8-4 in front, find themselves trailing 14-8.
Well, they took a lot of pressure, did Hull, after scoring those points. Halifax couldn't score, and it came away, a strong burst here, and Devorty takes the ball and gets away with it well. That's why he's a Great Britain prospect. A marvellous pass, leaves the wing centre, draws his man, and look at that for good rugby. Super try.
So Hull with their noses well in front now at 14-8. There it is. And Pearce can make it 16-8. And David Watkins, you were also making the point to me during the interval, in fact, that Hull playing downhill this half. Tremendous advantage to them, having kept Halifax to a 4-point advantage.
Well, that's right. They must be very pleased with the way they've come out second half and scoring these points. They've now got to slow their game down, and it'll now tell how good this Hull side is. Are they on the way back if they can hold out here?
Pearce has to this kick with his right foot, and he's hooked it, and that's a brilliant kick from Gary Pearce, and that really is a tremendous kick. It's the 53rd goal he's kicked this season, and he's not one of the top kickers in rugby league.
Good player is Gary, good player. Well, Hull had just taken a lot of pressure off Halifax, and here they are breaking out the defence. A marvellous pass by Gary Devorty, and of course the centre play at his highest level now by Vass. A good pass out then to Eastwood on the wing, and Eastwood finished it off as a true wing should.
Classic shots there. And that's really rugby league excitement at its greatest. Hull all of a sudden beginning to dictate the game. Chris Anderson has got to be thinking on the touchline of just what he can do, especially as he's got both his subs on.
Well, it's important that Halifax now get up into the Hull half and contain him up there, because you can't do anything in your own 25.
That's where they are at the moment, just outside it with Smith. Well, Hull now have been playing well recently. Whitfield's made a half break here. Hull have been playing well enough, only just beaten at Widnes last week. And the feeling at the Boulevard was that they were due for an away win. But I'm sure that Halifax will still be hopeful here of taking the points, even though they're 8 points down, and they've got Paul Dixon careering through. Paul Dixon, has he got all the way? He certainly has, and that's a marvellous drive from the second row man at the perfect psychological moment for Halifax.
Terribly important. We were just talking, what was Chris Anderson going to do, and Halifax have done it for him. They've come back into the game through this boy Dixon.
What a game we've got now. 4 points in it, and Paul Dixon He's always dangerous in these situations.
Always dangerous, but look how McCallion takes the ball away from acting half-back to draw the man, and when Dixon does get the ball, he knows exactly where he's going, and that's important. Shrugs off a tackle and crosses.
It's his 4th try of the season, and what a good acquisition he's been since he joined Halifax from Huddersfield, and another who had a stint with Canterbury Bankstown. And goal kicker Colin Whitfield has to do what Gary Pearce did just a couple of minutes ago. Just plonk it straight between those posts. He's certainly got the height. Well, he's screwed it right across the face of goal. (16-12) it is. But by no means over this game with a 4-point try, of course. And Tim Wilby at last has got on the field. There he is. Interesting character, Tim Wilby. Has played rugby league in France and in Australia, and in fact has acted as an agent in bringing players across here. Trying down the middle this time, Pendlebury. Just retained possession. Now Mick Scott. Well, it's not often he gets on the try sheet, but I think he had that in his mind then. A bludgeoning run. Robinson looking for the return ball, maybe. It didn't come, but Nellis still squeezed it out of the tackle. Now Beavers. And Hull's tackling having to be good. You see the referee raising his arm. That means we're on the last tackle. And the kick over from Robinson, who's taken out of the game by the substitute, will be, and the touch judge is on. I don't think the referee saw it. I think the referee was watching where the ball was. The touch judge is on, and that undoubtedly because Robinson was taken out of the game the second he kicked the ball by Wilby.
Well, that was a silly thing because they'd already absorbed the Halifax pressure. It only needed Hull to retain possession to start moving back down the field, but unfortunately, and off he goes. What a sensation.
Well, he's only been on 5 minutes, and Tim Wilby didn't expect to be playing in this match this morning. He's only in because Alan Tomlinson picked up a late injury and he's been sent off. And he's been on under 5 minutes, one of the quickest sendings off of the season. So he's into the dressing room. The play goes on, and now Hull really do have to defend, down to 12 men. And in a moment, David, I'll ask you your feelings about that and about the way that some referees might have used the sin bin, but where this referee decided to send the man off. Whitfield, though, tries to break the tackle. They're storming forward now with Will Georges on a rampaging run. Gets inside. Hall down just 7 or 8 yards short. Still going, though, and that's how close they are to the line now. Now a try now would increase the pulse rate for Chris Anderson and the supporters here, and Dixon is close to the line, and Dixon is so close, inches away, and it looked for the world as though he was in for his second try. They're trying to move it out wide to the wing, and there he goes, racing in, Mike Taylor, and a try that he thoroughly deserves for an afternoon's extremely hard endeavour.
Oh, he certainly has. He's been everywhere. He's coming on defence, he's been on attack, and a fine reward for him to score a try there, but all back to Tim Willoughby coming on, causing that sending off. The referee, rightly in my opinion, did send him off. You have to make a decision there and then.
Well, let's have another look at it, David.
But you see, it's so important. McCallion moves the ball quickly, and that's the important thing. A long ball out and strong running as well. You know, these long balls do make a difference. They take out the man, and of course it gives him the opportunity to run into the corner. The man is waiting for a good try.
So, can he put this one over? It'll be an almighty roar if he does. He's got a good right boot as Colin Whitfield. And this is an extremely difficult kick. And the flags stay down, and the scores stay level. That's not a classic in football in the senses, but it certainly had its share of drama. And McCallion attempting a drop goal, and he's wide of the mark. Well, McCallion's last drop goal was at Wembley in the cup final, so it would have been a nice moment for him to get another one. Still Hull keen to get Wellham on, but at least they've got the ball at the moment with Devorty. And there are 10 minutes left, and it's 16 apiece. Hull have got the ball, and they're flicking it around at the moment, just trying to find an opening down the middle. And it's a strange old game, is this, when Hull got 2 tries, so they seem to be storming away with it, and Halifax have come right back, despite the fact they're playing uphill.
Well, that's one of the problems we have. There's a little ill-discipline, and the ill-discipline cost them, it was quite costly.
So 12 penalties in the game so far, and Hull have conceded 8 of them. Hull's still very much intent on winning the points here. And Lulai will be acting half-back. Lulai's only got 1 try this season, so perhaps he's due one. And now, of course, the usual ploy at this stage of the game with the scores level, either side thinking of a drop goal, but Gary Pearce is trying to go all the way himself, and he's still going, Gary Pearce, and what's more, he's got Dana Hara over in the corner. Well, that's quite extraordinary. Everybody was really looking, I think, for a Gary Pearce attempted a drop goal, but his running was so tremendous, he was determined never to let go until the vital moment, and he's got Dana Hara over for the 108th try of his career.
That was a good try, because Gary stood back from the play and then really took him on. He goes back here. I mean, the ball was passed back to him here to drop a goal. Everybody waited for Pearce, but Pearce, a good footballer he is, there's no doubts about that, drew the men here. Watch this, goes round the man. Now it's difficulty again, now he's running between 2. He gets held, but he is a big lad. He squeezes out of it, moves on further, draws probably, and Dana Hara on his left-hand shoulder.
So the game is really seesawing here, and Hull are back in front. They lead by 20 points to 16. And Scrumdown has got off to a flying start, I reckon, in the 3 weeks we've had. Castleford against Bradford, Hull Chaos and Helens, and now Halifax and Hull. We've had some tremendous tries. And can Gary Pearce put the icing on the cake? He's kicked one beauty. Curls it round. Not quite this time, though. 4 points in it. And Halifax are up against it here. And of course Hull now could well be looking, oh, they've lost the ball. And in fact it's the handover. I was just about to say that Hull would be looking to get Gary Pearce in for a drop goal, but Halifax have the ball.
I think that would have been a wise decision there as well, really. It would have sealed things.
Well, Hull have 2 players, Pearce and Devorty, who are both very capable of dropping goals. But they didn't do it, so Pendlebury restarts the game, plays it to himself, and runs into a rock-solid tackle from Stuart Vass. While Halifax lost only 4 games at home all last season, and if they lose this one, they'll have lost 4 at home already this season. So that's a sign of the times at Thrum Hall. And they've certainly had their chances to win this match. But they've got the ball now. And it's not over yet by any means. Dixon, scorer of 1 try, gets it away. Meredith in support. Colin Whitfield's taken out this time. Again, the whole train is on the pitch at the moment. Nella and Halifax have got to do something quickly. And that's what they've done. Meredith racing through. Meredith jinking one way, then the other. That's the third time we've seen the stand-off half do that in this half. It's the last tackle, though, and of course a drop goal, no good to Halifax at this stage. They need the try. They've got to keep the ball moving. It's dropped, and that's the handover, and another chance goes a-begging.
Well, it was really. They are playing against a 12-man Hull side now at the moment. I would have thought it would have been better to move the ball out wide and look for the spaces on the outside, because Hull must be tired.
And Hull know exactly what they must do, and I'm sure Len Casey will have drilled it into them. Do not lose the ball at this stage. Keep hold of it.
It's very important now they bring it all the way back down to make it difficult for Halifax.
And Eastwood again cuts inside, and he is a pacey lad, this Eastwood. Tremendous running from Paul Eastwood. Devorty acting halfback. McCaffrey flings it wide. They're trying to create space on that left side for O'Hara again. Sensible play from Lualai, just hesitated and held the ball, and now a chance of McCaffrey. That was very intelligent play from James Lualai, and here he is once more. He's been a very strong candidate in this second half. Once more, we've got a handover. We've had 3 of those in about as many minutes. Wilf George, still George. Great running from the winger. Brought down now. Well, only seconds left on the watch, but Dixon's away. Paul Dixon, are we in for a thrilling finale to this game? Dixon now finally brought down. If he could have got the ball away there would have been a try, I'm sure, but the support was just behind him. But a penalty given. Halifax have to run it. Only seconds left, and it's Pendlebury taking it on himself. Well, can Halifax pull this one out of the bag? They're 4 points behind. And we're coming towards injury time. The hooter must sound shortly. But Halifax is still there, determined to keep that ball moving. But they've lost it. And in fact, the hooter goes. And Hull have won by 20 points to 16, and disconsolate Halifax. And Hull coming back in the second half with those tries from Sean Patrick, Paul Eastwood, and finally from Dane O'Hara. And Dane O'Hara is down on the touchline with our man Nick Powell.
Dane, congratulations, quite a finish, and your 3rd successive match-winning try.
Yes, that's right. The boys had an uphill go here. Yeah, we've lost the last couple of games, but the boys came back and played brilliantly today. We hope that this is a stepping stone for better things to come for the team. We're back on the ladder. We're going all the way up to the top 8.
A 4-point margin in the end then with Dane O'Hara's try there, the clincher. 2 important goals from Gary Pearce as well. So the early birds really are singing tonight, and I mean that literally, as we'll find out in the dressing room as we join David Watkins.
Well, Gary Pearce, man of the match, contributed with 2 lovely breaks and made tries, and a superb conversion. And no doubt you'll be delighted to accept the Stones Better Trophy Man of the Match Award for your contribution this afternoon.
Thank you, David. Just like to say, I don't think I deserved it, but it was a good team effort. I think we've worked hard for the last couple of weeks without getting a result. I think this is for all the lads.
And importantly as well, here's the cheque to go with it. Well done.
I think I'll keep that now.
It was interesting that Seamus McCallion won the scrum 7-3, but for all that possession, it was still Hull, of course, who won in the end, and Sean Patrick, their hooker, had a tremendous game in the loose. And really interesting, the fact that neither hooker managed to win 1 scrum against the head. As far as the penalty count was concerned, that was interesting. Hull had a player sent off, another perhaps lucky to stay on, and they conceded twice as many penalties. There were a few fumbles, a few dropped passes as well. Generally, though, errors in play, ending even, 12 apiece.
Well, it was indiscipline that nearly cost Hull the game this afternoon, when late in the second half, Tim Wilby, the late replacement who had come on, was sensationally sent off for a high tackle on a Halifax player, which resulted in Halifax having a penalty and a further 6 play the balls. They moved the ball quickly to the right for Mark Taylor to squeeze in at the corner. Colin Whitfield had to kick the goal to take them in front. He failed and the scores remained level. Hull, now down to 12 men, attacked with some good passing movements down the middle of the field. When Pearce, with the only minutes of the game left, dummied to drop a goal, decided not to, ran down the short side, shrugged off 2 tackles, passed to Dana Haar on his left-hand side and crossed for what was to be the winning try. Now let's go over to Wilf Paish, the Halifax statistician.
Wilf, based on the information you collated, what conclusion have you come to?
Well, basically that our forwards didn't do enough tackling. The front row in particular, they were quite well down on the number of tackles they normally make. They're usually up in the 30s and they were down in the 20s. Also, there's a few important missed tackles that they didn't catch their man and allowed them to go through and score. I think we had enough opportunities of attacking rugby to have easily won the game, but we didn't get it this year.
So the forwards take the blame. Is this unusual?
It is symptomatic with the pattern of play that we've got at the present moment, I'm afraid. We badly miss Chris Anderson when he was on the field, and the way he directed all of the play, made sure the forwards were in the right places, made sure that the attacking moves were set up. And we miss him, and we're struggling for someone to take his place.
So it's something you'll be working on in training during the week?
Well, hopefully, yes. Then that all that I do is the fitness training. That's up to Chris to get the pattern of play sorted out, but we've got to get it right pretty soon.
Wilf, thanks very much. Now here's Nick again with the rest of the day's results.
Thank you, John. And first, the Stones bid a championship. Castleford 14, Salford 0. Harder than the score might suggest for Cast this one before Beattie and Ward's tries sealed it. Halifax 16, Hull 20. So Hull, having lost by 4 points last week, win by 4 this time. Dane O'Hara scoring for the 3rd successive match. Hunslet 8, Bradford Northern 24. Second win in a row for Northern, who haven't lost to Hunslet for 20 years. 5 tries, Stewart, Ford, Hill, Simpson and Mercer. Lee 13, Hull KR 6, fast and furious, and Steve Smith's early try put Rovers ahead, but Lee came back with a try and a drop goal for Mike Ford, whom Oldham of course are keen to sign. St Helens 17, Warrington 14. Saints bouncing back well after that defeat we saw at Hull KR last week. Tries from David Tanner, Andy Platt, and yet again Les Quirk. Swinton 12, Widnes 52. No stopping the leaders. 2 tries each for Kurt Sorensen and Phil McKenzie, and that man Martin O'Fire scored his 21st of the season. There's the second division. Barrow 18, Oldham 14.